You can start now, man.
Uh, so good morning, everyone.
Good
And
morning,
I'm
ma'am.
good morning. And I hope today is a Sunday, so everyone is on the weekend mood. But today we have this presentation that's organized by Engineering Council, and I'm sure this will draw your attentions. I understand that participants are from different group of different experience. So if I want to show you the India's refinery landscape, many of you may be aware how many refineries are there and how the energy is produced from the crude, but many of them are not knowing the details. So I'll start with some preliminary background of the energy landscape, and then I will go some critical issues which you are aware the presently going on in the Strait of Hormuz at Iran and many other complicated issues, and I'll be focusing on that part. So today's my presentation is India's refinery landscape. Let me introduce, as Jograj has already told me that I have been already introduced to all of you, but I just once again repeat about, you can see my photographs. I'm sure you are able to see me in this link. I was a former director of refineries, Indian Oil Corporation Limited. So I joined in Indian Oil and I superannuated from Indian Oil only. I'm a metallurgical engineer from Bengal Engineering College and also a diploma in business management from ICFAI. I joined Indian Oil in 1987 and I had been, I have worked at various capacities in various refineries like Haldia Refinery, Barauni Refinery, Panipat Refinery, Digboy Refinery, refinery headquartered at New Delhi. And I had a foreign assignment at Qatar Petroleum for about 2 years. And also I did work at Enoch Refinery at Dubai. And I'm sure you'll be finding in the website that I'm the first woman planted in India and also the first women functional director at Indian Oil Board. And I have got list of awards, that accolades was given by different ministries and the list is there. I just don't want to go much of that, but this is my introductions and I will start with now with the basics of some energy criteria, energy distributions in our country. So I go to the next slide. Some important data you all must know for our country. One thing I would like to say that as a country's development depends on the energy it is having or energy requirement. It's always energy requirement. So the country is having more natural resources like crude, coal, and other natural gas and all this. It is richer by energies and it rules the world. That's how it comes. Now, if I look into the India scenario, how the energy, how much energy India is having, I would like to say that at this moment, our total energy consumption is about 1,000 million metric ton oil equivalent. Even entire energy consumption is converted into crude oil equivalent, then it becomes 1,000 million metric ton. Current GDP, all of you are aware, is approximately 6.5%, so it's quite high. And the total crude processing capacity is 255 million metric ton per annum. In short, normally we write AMMTPA. And we produce indigenous crude, which we produce primarily from Assam and Bombay Highway and train at Rajasthan. It is approximately 30 million metric ton. Sometimes it's become 20 million metric ton. And two exploration companies, ONGC and Oil India, works on that. And there are now private sectors came into the picture. Is the Crane Energy as well as Reliance BP is also doing some explorations. Now, so out of 255 million metric ton, our domestic requirements is met only 30 million metric ton and 230, approximately 85 to 87 million percent of the total crude is imported. Now our import bill for on account of crude procurement is approximately 120 to 160 billion US dollar, which is 25% of total import bill. So you can imagine that how much we are dependent on purchasing this, and 25% of total import bill comes into that, which is technically huge. And had we been having the good amount of resources in our own country, we won't have been so dependent. We would have seen much more growth in our country. So now next come is that per capita energy consumption of our country is 650 kg, only 650 kg, which is one third of the global average. So our per capita consumption is very, very less. So if I want to make a global average, that is 3 times of 650, our energy consumptions, which I have told is 1000 million metric ton oil equivalent, would definitely go almost 3 times of that, which is like more than 2000 million metric ton per annum. That's how it goes about. Now, we have in our country 22 numbers of refineries of different different capacity, and two more. We had Ratnagiri refinery coming up, which is now cancelled, and two more refineries are to come under BPCL and ONGC. One BPCL in Andhra Pradesh and ONGC they're looking for in Gujarat Jamnagar, which is yet to be finalized. Now, as I have already said, that your GDP is actually depending on your per capita income. So if you see here, your per capita income, which is going here, I'm sure you are able to see my cursor movement. So cursor movement, if you are able to see, you see the gross domestic product GDP, which is increasing. I'm showing you from 1980, and it is increasing to 22, how sharply it is increasing. And it is also shown that the primary energy is also increasing. So your growth of the country always depends on your primary energy, always. So you see, Middle East, many of you must be asking one question, is that Middle East is having a lot of crude, lot of natural gas and all, why they are not growing? In fact, Middle East itself has got very less amount of infrastructures, which is now growing. Now, if you see 20 years before, what was there in the Gulf countries, and now Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Riyadh, they are growing like anything, because they have maybe not natural resources, but they do not have water. They do not have other resources. They're mostly on the deserted area. That's why they haven't grown. They haven't got the technology and all kind of things. That's why they haven't grown. But basic formula for the growth of a nation is that more energy is required for more growth of the nations, and more energy of any nations is available in the nature, the growth of the countries will be used. And the lively example is United States of America. They have a natural resources plenty, and their growth is also very, very high. Now, as I told you already, is that our energy consumptions, total consumption is 2014 to 15 is to the tune of something around 642 million metric ton per million oil equivalent. And if I go back to 2023, the consumption has increased to 903 million metric ton oil equivalent. So it's really increased by about 20 to 25%. That's quite huge. As the GDP is 6.5 is there, and it is growing. Infrastructure in the country is growing, more and more energy is required. Another down the line, 5 to 10 years, we'll be able to see the Indians' requirement is increasing by more than even 2000. If I see the sector-wise primary energy supply, you see that our primary energy, which we are consuming 2006, it is increasing. So if you see the coal, which is black in color, then comes oil, that is crude, which is yellow in color, then other renewable energies. Primary, most of the natural resources are fossil fuel, we call it about, is the coal, oil, and natural gas. So in 2000s, all of them, and then renewable energy, which is solar energy, wind energy, and then nuclear and hydro. These are the various kind of energy mix is there, which we always utilize that mix. In 2006, 2007, this mix was, coal was almost like 54% in the energy mix, oil 32%, oil means crude oil, gas was 9.97%, And in the other side, hydro was 2.44%, renewable 0.22%, and nuclear was 1.21%. And all the different kinds of energy in our total energy mix of 1,000 million metric ton oil equivalent. You see the trend in the curve from 2005 to 2024 to 25, all of them are increasing. All of them are. Hydro is increasing, gas is increasing, coal is increasing, and oil is also increasing. Now, similar way, I go back to the Indian primary energy mix. Indian primary energy mix in 2019, if I see, oil is 24%, natural gas is 5%, coal is 45%, and 1% is nuclear, 3% is hydro, and renewables, which includes solar, which also includes wind energy, and bioenergies also, that is coming to 22%. So in 2006 to 2007, the renewable was only contributing only 0.22%, which is now increased in 2019 is 22%. And our projections, because we are going to net zero or decarbonizations, uh, you know that fossil fuel reduction is reduction is taking place to reduce the pollutions, to reduce the greenhouse gas effect. So the biofuels, renewable energy is coming more into the picture. So India has declared net zero by 2070, and accordingly, all the industries, particularly petroleum industries, whose greenhouse gas emission is very, very high, all of them has declared their net zero target. Like Indian Oil has declared the net zero target by 2046. BPCL and HPCL has declared by 2040. Uh, Reliance has declared by 2035. So with this kind of development of the energy transitions going on in the country, the projections by 2050 is that your oil will be reduced from 24% to 5%. Natural gas will be increased because natural gas reduces pollution by 30% than crude oil. So it will be from 5%, it will increase to 7%. And then comes to new coal. Coal is 45% will be reduced to 6%. That's a projections. Nuclear will increase to 8%. And then hydro also will increase from 3% to 6%. And renewable will be increasing 68%. Solar is plenty available. Solar and wind energy. These two energies are plenty available in our country. So that all the efforts are going on by the government of India to increase it, so that we can achieve our net zero target by 2070. Now, how the energy is utilized, various kind of energy mix I have shown to you. Now, how the energies are distributed in different sectors. Now, if you see, the industry uses maximum. Industry uses 49% of total energy. And then comes transport. Transport, it goes about 22%. That means petrol, diesel, these are the fuel utilized in the transportations. So that takes about 22%. And then comes your other residential, which takes 10%. Agricultural area, it takes about 5% of the energy, and others like small things, which comes around 14%. That's how the energy is distributed in different areas. Now, if I see the refining capacity of our country with others. So that this red block, you can see that India is actually processing 5.3 million barrel per day. I'm not talking about in the crude terms. I mean, you can say it is annually 253 million metric ton per annum. But in terms of barrel, which is international benchmark, that it is shown in the million barrel per day. So India uses 5.3 million barrel per day, while North America is 21. How much? What a high value. So these countries are developed countries and their energy consumptions is very, very high. So in 2021, it was utilizing about 21.6, processing about 21.6 million barrel per day Europe 15.5 million barrel per day, and Asia Pacific 37, which includes Japan, Korea. You see, China is utilizing 17.5 million barrel per day. So China is growing, America is growing, Europe is growing, and these are the indicators that how much processing capacity of crude they have. And if I see similarly in the right hand side that refinery runs, it is little than the capacity because many point of time some of the refineries part of it remains under shutdown and maintenance work. So even if the capacity is 100%, it is actually being utilized to the 92 to 92%. So let's not going by that particular one. But if I go in the future progress 21, 2030, 2050, 2050, in a current situations, then you will see our current crude processing capacity is 5.3 million barrel per day. In 2050, it is expected to be 7.5 million barrel per day. And if I go about world processing capacity, in 2021, it was 101.2 million barrel per day, and it is going to increase by 105.8 million per day. So this is the current situation. Now, if the energy transition takes place where crude consumptions will be reduced, obviously you can see the column, it's called APAs, is accelerated announced placed scenario. I have already said that all the industries and the countries has mostly declared their net zero targets. And so therefore there is a reduction of crude consumptions because this is energy intensive industries and CO2 emission is very, very high from this kind of industries. So in the announced pledges scenario, which is called APS, the processing capacity is going to reduce for India to 5.4 by 2050 and equally other countries as the way they are taking actions. Now, how many refineries we have? I'm trying to give you the current conditions as well as the future refineries and their capacities. We have 22 numbers of refinery at this moment. And you see IOCL has got 9 refineries. Processing capacity by 2020 was 70.05 million metric ton per annum. CPCL, Chennai Petroleum Corporation Limited, 10.5, which comes under IOCL. So IOCL as a group, it comes around 80.55 million metric ton. BPCL 30.53, it has got 4 refineries. HPCL 3 refineries, it processes about 17.8 million metric ton. MRPL, which is a part of ONGC, it processes 15.0 million metric ton. Numaligarh refinery 3 million metric ton and going to increase by 9 million metric ton. Then, so totally under PSU, public sector units, it's about 151.7 million metric tons. And then comes HMEL. HMEL, it processes at 11.3 million metric ton. Naira refineries at Jamnagar process 20 million metric ton. And RRPCL, that is Ratnagiri Refinery Petrochemical Limited, which was considered to be commissioned under joint venturing of IOCL, BPCL, HPCL, with a 60 million metric ton per annum, is currently under hold. And RIL has got Reliance Industries has got 2 refinery at Jamnagar. It has got 2 parts. One is domestic, which supplies the fuel into the country, processing capacity of 33 million metric ton. And another unit nearby to this, it has got also similar capacities of 33, which is for export purpose. But for India, is total that is called RIL in the Reliance Industries Limited SEZ area, which process 35.2 million metric tons. So total capacity is approximately 251.22 million metric ton. Now, you see that what are the expansions are going to take place in the future years, 22, 23, 23, 24, and thereafter. I'm showing the now projections of 2031 to 32. The total country's capacity from current 2020, it was 251 million metric ton, is going to increase 319.8 million metric ton capacity. Now, these are the locations of the various refineries. You can see the emblems are there. Indian Oil has got 9 refineries: Panipat, Mathura, Kuali, Barauni, Paradip, Bongaigaon, Guwahati, Big Boy, and then coming Reliance, which has got 2 refinery here at Jamnagar. So means they have one plant consisting of 2 refinery, one for domestic, another for SEZ refinery for export purpose. Naira is also having another refinery near to Reliance refineries. Rajasthan refinery, which is under commissioning, so I'm not considering its processing capacity is 9.0 million metric ton. HML has got a Bathinda refinery at Punjab, which has got 11.3, which is increased now 15. CPCL has got Chennai, 10.5 million metric ton. And there is a refinery at Tatipaka, which is coming under MRPL. Kochi is coming under BPCL, Kochi, Bina. These are the refineries, and Mumbai refinery. These are the 3 refineries are coming under BPCL. And HPCL is having Mumbai, as well as HPCL having one in the Vizag refinery too. And HML is also the joint venture company with the HPCL. So there are total 22 refineries in the country. Now, these are the companies at this moment in our country: ONGC, Naira, MRPL, HPCL, CPCL, NRL, BPCL, IOCL, and Reliance. These are having the refineries. And you can see the how from 2006 to 2030, the capacity has increased over the time. So as I told you that in 2030, the capacity is going to increase to 319 from 251 million metric ton. How the growth has taken place in our country. Now, you know the refinery produces different kind of fuel by processing crude. And what are the products? The products are, uh, it produces diesel, which is the maximum, but it depends on how the refinery is configured. But this is, I'm giving an average figure. The diesel it produces 41%, which is utilized primarily for the transportation purpose. And the next valuable one is motor spirit, which is also called petrol or gasoline. It comes about 12% of the total crude processing. Then comes LPG, which is about 11%. And then comes naphtha, which is 7%. Naphtha is utilized for the petrochemical products, petrochemical plants. And then come SKO, that is kerosene, which is 4%. And over the time, the government has made a target to reduce from 4% to 0%. Then come aviation turpentine fuel. You know, this is utilized in the jet or the aeroplane, which contributes 3% of the crude. And then comes petroleum coke, which is now is a good product, and it is utilized. Petroleum coke is utilized for, graphites and all kind of a thing, as well as utilized in the cement plant. It comes around 10%. Bitumen, which is utilized in the road, is 3%. We also produce lubes for the utilized in the machineries, which comes around 2%. And there is also a thick product come fuel oil, which is utilized in the industries for heating in the heaters for the in the heaters and burners. So that's a 4%. So this is the different kind of products comes out from the refineries, and in this proportionate area it comes out. Now I will how the consumption is increasing for the different products, important products. I just would like to show you. You see the petrol in the financial year of 25, it consumed about 39.98 million metric ton. However, in financial year 26, it is 42.64. So there is an increase of 6.6%. Similarly, diesel 91.58 million metric ton per annum, and in FY26 it is 94.16. So it is increased in 2.8%. So in all cases, all the products which is coming out from the refineries is in the increasing trend. It does give an indication that India is growing, and India's requirement of energy is also coming very, very high with a CAGR of almost 5 to 6%. So there will be more and more refinery required, and government of India almost said with through a committee is that the future requirement by 2040, the requirement would be to the tune of 450 million metric ton per annum. And by 2030, our projected value was 319 million metric ton per annum. So there is a gap of about 100 to 115 million metric ton processing capacity. So more refineries are to come and has to come to meet the country's growth, to meet the country's energy requirement. Now, it's not easy that one refinery has come at certain point of time and then India, in fact, started very sluggishly in the beginning with a few units. And over the time, there was a technological development has come across the globe, and it has also equally penetrated into our country. And that we are now using BS6 product, which is having a sulfur content less than 10%. And the BS6 product does not just come by the processing; it has got lot of technology has come into it, and lot of plant has come for that. So we have seen that what has come in 1965 uh, and what is now. When I joined Indian Oil, I have seen only few units: crude distillation unit, vacuum distillation unit, catalytic reforming unit, and Kero hydro desulfuration unit. But today, many more units, processing units are there to produce BS6 quality products. So how it has come? I will tell. Our first refinery in India has come Digboy Refinery, which has been commissioned in 1901. And then came BPCL Refinery at Mumbai. And then came Baroda Refinery at Gujarat in 1965. And thereafter, all refineries started coming. And recently, the most newest refinery will be the Burma refinery at Rajasthan under HPCL. Prior to that, Indian Oil is having Paradeep refinery, which is a very new one. Panipat refinery is a new one. And then Reliance SCJ refinery has come in 2008, which is also a very, very new one. So as far as refinery and the technological development is concerned, India holds a place across the globe. And these 22 refineries in the country is the third highest number of refineries in the globally. So I would say how the technological development has taken place. So started with a very crude unit called crude distillation unit and vacuum distillation unit. Many of the cases earlier, the vacuum distillation unit was not there. So originally, all the refineries came up with few units called crude distillation unit, in short CDU, vacuum distillation unit, in short called VDU, catalytic reforming, all are having the short form. So we generally, our work purpose, we utilize the short form. Thereafter, petrol demand has increased, diesel demand has increased. Based on the demand, the various processing units started coming, and these are all new technology. So the first fluid catalytic cracking unit has come at the Guwahati refinery under IOCL. And then came hydrocracker unit, which increases more of diesel. So this has come at Gujarat refinery. Then there is an incorporation of BS3 product requirement, for which limited the sulfur content into the fuel, that is petrol and diesel. So diesel hydro desulfuration unit has come. Then followed by BS4 and BS6. So diesel hydro treating unit also has come. These are all technology improvement. So all these processing unit required a lot of hydrogen. So all the plants are having hydrogen generation unit, HGU, for generation of hydrogen. And then the sulfur, which is not to be emitted into the environment. So sulfur recovery unit has come into the plant. And the another part is lube oil, which I am not going to tell. I am just restricting onto the fuel part of the things of the refineries, which is the core business of the refineries. Now, how the transportation mode of these various products? It goes by railway, it goes by truck, and it goes by pipeline. I am just giving you a picture that if you see the green color, this is the crude pipeline. So all these green lines, the crude received at different port. What are the ports? Mundra port and Badinar port, Vizag port and Paradip port. These are the four number of ports primarily, and also the Mumbai port primarily utilized for the crude receipt, imported crude receipt. And you see the red lines, which are gas pipeline as well as product pipeline across the globe, across the country. And I would say that most of the pipelines belongs to Indian Oil Corporation, because Indian Oil is having a pipeline divisions. So that's how these modes are there. And there is a railway transportation comes through railway, transportation comes through truck also, and also the you can see this sea route outside this, which is coming from port to port, and is also transport lot of fuels through that. Now, another most important part of the crude, which you are hearing in the news, that why Iraq war is so important for entire planet. Now, we import a lot of crudes from different countries. We don't import crudes from one country, because if there is a problem in any country, we can get our crude from other countries. And this is the area I want to show you. So in general, we take primary countries where from we take crude is Iraq. So most of them is Saudi Arabia, Iraq, United Emirates, America, Russia, and some others. This percentage, what I'm showing, it is just figure 10 years before, but it is changing based on the accessibility and the cost. So others means we take it, some part of it from Malaysia, we also take it from Mexico, we also take it from Nigeria, we also take it from Kuwait, Qatar, Angola, and all other countries, bit of it. So all across, wherever crudes are available, you also take it from Venezuela, and a bit of it from Canada too also. But primarily we are depending on the Middle East, Gulf countries, which are Saudi Arabia, United Emirates, Kuwait, Qatar, and Iraq. Now, how we import the crude? We import the crude utilizing various vessels or tankers. Many of you may not be knowing how it comes about. There are various sizes of it called vessels or the oil tankers. So you see the tankers of various sizes, coastal tankers. This is for generally product routing, 205-meter long, Aframax, Suezmax, VLCC. VLCC means very large crude container. And ULCC means ultra large crude container. We normally use VLCC for the crude transport, crude import, which is having 350-meter long, and which can at one point of time $2 million barrel of crude can transport. So these are the ships or the vessels through which we import the crude. Now, how it looks like? You see this handy size, handy max in the different names, Panamax. And I'm just interested that generally we use Suezmax and VLCC, very large crude container. These are the two are primarily utilized by the India for transport or for importing of the crude from different countries. And our port facilities are also made accordingly. Now, how the crude are transported from one part of the global to the other part of the planet. So I will show you some different routes. This is the current discussions going on. Arab Gulf to East Coast. India generally, generally takes the crude in the port Kandla and Bhandinar in this area in the Gujarat, and the Mumbai for BPCL, and then Paradip for Paradip Refinery and the eastern part of the refineries. Earlier, Haldia port was utilized, but it is not being utilized now because of it is not able to handle the VLCC, and we don't use much of smaller vessels because it doesn't become economical. Now here you can see, I'm sure you are able to see my cursor movement. You see this is Iran, this is Iraq, this is Saudi Arabia, this is Oman, Kuwait, and Qatar. All are located like this, and this is the Persian Sea, and this is a Strait of Hormuz, which is being discussed in the news heavily every day. And you know about Iran war. So I get crude from Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran in sanctions. I'm unable to take it. Oman is there, Qatar is there, all are here, and the ships comes from this Persian Gulf, and from there it passes through that Strait of Hormuz and follow this route to go to Paradip, follow this route to go to supply this area of Reliance and Indian Oil, Mumbai in the Mumbai port, and then it goes to Paradip. This is the route we follow through comes. So most of my crude, Indian crude, are coming transported from this area through VLCC. So from Arab Gulf, the crude comes to eastern part of the country, western part of the country, and these are the countries which supplies all the other refineries. Then another from the middle of the country, Europe and Africa, how the crude comes, it follows through this, it goes to the Suez Canal, and then it goes to the Red Sea. From Red Sea, this is another channel which is called Strait of Bab el Mandeb, which is also a narrow zone the ship has to pass through. So from how it goes, it follows this route from Europe and Africa, moves through this, goes to the Suez Canal, goes to the Red Sea, passes the Strait of Bab el Mandeb, and then it goes to Kandla area, the western part of the country. Then it goes to eastern part of the country, port. So this is how it moves, and it requires almost like from 25 days to 45 days to come from this area. We also receive part of the crude from Mexico and US, and that's how it moves. It cross. This is the route from Mexico and the US, Houston. It follow the routes, enters into the Europe, passes through the European Gulf Lake, and then it goes to the Suez Max, passes through the Red Sea, and then it goes to eastern part and western part of the country. This is the main route which takes minimum time from 25 days to 45 days to reach to India. But suppose is there any problem, I need to have a second route. So how the second route operates, I will show that. So I already shown you, and this is also another one which I like to share with you, that Malaysia, Brunei, also we take some of the crude, even some part of in Indonesia, it moves through this route. This is a strait or the channeling which is called Strait of Malacca. I have not put the name, but this is a narrow zone like Strait of Hormuz. So crude comes and follows this route. It reaches to Paradip, Odisha, and then Mumbai here, and then it goes to Vadinar and Mundra port. That's how it moves. This is a normal process with a minimum transportation time. But in case anything happens, then what is the second route? So second route from Mexico, US, this is a second route. This is a Cape Town, or you can say is a Hope of Good. It passes through and then it moves out. It goes to Kandla and Vadinar port and then goes to Paradip. And this is the longest most path which takes about 60 days. And the moment it runs more and more time means cost of the landed crude becomes very, very high. So supposing there is an issue into this area or the Middle East, and then ship takes a route in a different. We need energy that cannot be avoided at all. So it moves through a different route. From the Europe, again it goes through this way. This is the Cape Town, and from there it goes to Vadinar and the Paradip, alternative route. So this is how I am showing that existing route and alternative routes for various crude movement taking place across the globe for India for importing crude from various countries. Now, I would like to highlight some crisis which is happening, that Iran war by US and Israel, why it is so important for India. As I already told you that India import about 85 to 87% of its crude, which is approximately 230 million metric ton. So one day, one vessel stoppage means the energy crisis is going to happen in the country. Now, out of which 50 to 60% of import comes from Gulf countries, that is Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iraq, Kuwait, and Qatar. Now, crude carrying vessel, I have already explained, very large crude container. So this 50 to 60%, which is coming through VLCC, this passes through the Strait of Hormuz, which is being controlled by Iran in this war, because primary area is from here. So if Strait of Hormuz is closed, then it is just not the Iran crude from Iran is getting affected, but the entire crude being from Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iraq, and Kuwait, all of them are affected because all of them are passing through a Strait of Hormuz. So all other countries, particularly China in India, whose major import of crude coming from Gulf countries are getting affected. And you are all aware that it is being told in the news that 20% of the global crude supply from Strait of Hormuz, all of them are getting affected, particularly China. Then Iran recently blocked the Strait of Hormuz, so all the countries got affected in their energy. And you know the kind of turmoil, kind of energy crisis created across the globe. And crude cost, which is normally varies from 60 to $80 per barrel, has gone high during this time, more than $100 per barrel. I mean, it has gone up to $120 per barrel. When Ukraine war started, that time the cost of the crude increased to $120 per barrel. So that is how the energy is so important in our country and everywhere. It is so important. Now, state of Hormuz. So some of you may be asking me a question that why we are not taking the crude from Iran, because Iran was sanctioned in various point of time. The last sanction has taken place in 2018. India could not take the crude from Iran, but China could take. India used to take crude about 20 to 22 million metric ton before sanction from Iran. And China takes about 70 million metric ton per annum from Iran. And it's a good amount because China's processing capacity is 910 million metric ton, which is 4 times than India. And as I told you, the India is having 22 refineries. China is having 224 refineries. Of course, they have about 25% refineries are called fish spot refinery. It's a small refinery, private sector, and they primarily take the crude from Iran. Now, while India used to take crude from Iran, they used to use the VLCC, very large crude vessels. And India has got only 6 to 7 numbers of vessels of their own. And rest of the vessels they used to take from other countries like Greece, Korea, and others through time charter, which is the cheapest one. But what I mean to say this one here is that for vessels, arranging vessels also, India is fully dependent on other countries. It hasn't got good number of vessels of its own. And while these vessels carrying crude comes to our place, we need to have the marine insurance. India doesn't have marine insurance capacity of their banks. We have general insurance and India Assurance. These are the two insurance companies. And these two companies doesn't have good balance sheet to cater the requirement of such highly costly vessels carrying about 2 million barrel crude, which is huge. So we take the insurance with the banks from USA and UAE. So when Iran sanction was there, we really couldn't take the insurance from USA and European Union banks, and we also could not arrange the vessel of our own. As a result of this, we had to compel to go into the sanction of Iran. However, if I look back to China, China has their own vessels, is the world third largest vessel manufacturing, VLCC manufacturing country. So it has got 60, 70 vessels of their own. And it has got their own insurance company, which is capable to handle such big volume, big cost of the crude in vessels. So They do not require to be dependent onto USA or any other country. They have their own arrangement. So when USA has declared sanction for Iran crude, India has to obey that. However, China hardly mattered because they have the vessels, they have their own insurance, and they have, in fact, they not only, you know, disobeyed the sanctions, they have also gone into a 20 years of agreement because they know they're the only country capable to carry the Iran crude at that point of time of sanction. They have made a 20 years of agreement with Iran at a discounted rate. Okay, so these are the reason that China is in a better positions than India. And today, when Strait of Hormuz problem has come, blockade has come, China got more effect, has got more effect than India. But the mind it, at this point of time, we have arranged crude from USA and other place. But USA taking crude from USA or Mexico, it travels a long distance. So everything comes at price, at cost. So our landed cost becomes very, very high, while China gets a very, very cost at a lower cost with the discounted rate. So these are the difference between China and India, and China got more affected than India. And if I talk about reserves, we have internal reserves of only 8 to 9 days. That means if anything happens into the Gulf countries, I am able to manage only 8 to 9 days. However, China has got an arrangement of 90 days arrangement, 3 months. So that's how China has made their energy security so strong and robust compared to India. That effects for India for any kind of war comes very, very fast. So I'm sure you are able to understand how that Strait of Hormuz at Iran, the blockade has come and the war has come, how it has impacted the entire, all the countries, particularly India and China. Technically, if you see, India process world third largest crude, 255, China 910, USA 450, and that's what which I have already shown to you. So India and China, USA is the first, China is the second, India is the third. As far as import is concerned, China does maximum import and then India. So these are the two countries are really, really get impacted by any kind of war because these two countries requires heavy energy, heavy amount of crude, and if anything happens, these two countries are getting really affected. Now, as far as reserves are concerned, I want to show you one slide that how India has organized their own arrangement. So you know that India also has made some kind of arrangement which is not adequate enough, but after this war, India is thinking about another reserves. So we have in the first phase we call strategic petroleum reserves. So we have reserves in three locations: Vizag, Mangalore, and Padur. And this is having a capacity of store. There's a typically, underground storage capacity typically designed, which is able to reserves the crude of 5.33 million metric ton at a certain point of time. And then the phase two, there it has been increased to 5.33 to 6.5. And the new one is coming at Odisha, that is Chandikol, Odisha, and Padur, Karnataka. Two more are coming, which is of 6.5 million metric tons. So finally, we'll see if these two are, uh, commissioned or constructed and commissioned, then we'll be having almost like 12.5 million metric ton capacity in the near future, which will be able to give me another 20 days reserves. Not good enough, but reserves. That's how India operates. So this is what is my slide two. And now I would be looking for the questions. I'm sure I'm able to give you a lot of informations in the refinery landscape. I didn't talk about the energy transition because that's a big area, and I request Jogras to have one more class sessions for the energy transitions for the entire class, entire spectators. That's how I'm going by. And thank you very much for patiently listening to me and giving me
Dr.
time.
Dr. Sukla, can I come in? This is Dr. P.R. Swaroop, Member
Yes,
Secretary of Engineering Council of India.
absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Doctor, Your lecture was super. It was wonderful and very
Thank you.
timely. And Yogaraj is certainly going to make not only one, but couple of more sessions, which have to be taken up by you. Now, let me tell you the reason why I have intervened before the question answers start. This is all fine. We know the current status and the way things are operating, and also about the global, disputes and things like that which are going on. I have a firm conviction that very soon we are going to have a situation where the Hormuz is going to be opened. The business shall basically resume as normal. But the, there's a lot of work for us that is now waiting. So many of the oil refineries and so much of infrastructure has been damaged that this needs to be fully reinstated if the normal life have to be maintained. I would like you to focus on this particular issue because on one hand we are losing a lot of resources because of the hike in prices, hike in the insurance premium, and of course the kind of scuffles that are going on. But fact of the matter is that sooner or later this war will be ending and we would have plenty of work to be done. Now, I would like you to explain to our participants, maybe in subsequent lectures, as to what all has been damaged and what are the basic tools for making an assessment of the type of skills that are required to reinstate these chains. Needless to say, you are basically the from the energy sector and you know about has op and has on kind of things. That also has to be understood by our people because, God willing, they may charge high for the crude, but we will charge much higher for our people. And don't forget that every sixth person on this planet is an Indian, and we are a young population. So let us basically look at that. Thank you, doctor. So you can basically now have the questions and answers. And to my friends who are here, I will encourage you to ask all the questions and we'll be inviting doctor to speak again. Thank you so much.
Mr. Sharup, to explain to your queries, are you listening to me?
Yes, I am listening to you.
Yeah, yeah. As far as report is concerned, which was coming in the news, uh, there was a destruction took place in Qatar natural gas plant, Ras Gas, and it has already been explained that to bring it back into the original production requirement, it requires about 3 to 5 years. So technically, the drawings and all other things available, only those are to be repaired and replaced. That's the work to be done. As far as Iran is concerned, the damage has taken place in mostly, as it was saying, it is the storage area, that is the tankage area.
Doctor, sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
what I meant was, and what I am requesting you is that you can do the analysis and maybe in your subsequent addresses, you can take it up. We'll talk in terms of the quantitative measures as to what are the kind of things that will be needed. I'm sure from the petroleum network you would be knowing that what all has damaged where and all those things. So with that, I think you can have other questions, but then please work out on that and let us go in a quantitative manner. I hope you get my point. Thank you,
Yeah,
doctor.
I got your point, but that required a team to go and analyze the situation at site. We'll see whatever can be done. Fine, naturally.
No,
Okay.
I'm talking about the kind of macro situation. You see, there has been damage. The people who are connected with the industry are certainly having some kind of an assessment. I give you an example. When I make an assessment for the people who are required for constructing the infrastructure that you have, there is a gross requirement, and that basically depends on the kind of projects that you have. So the numbers start coming. They are macro numbers. We have to basically analyze and see how can we position ourselves. And please do not forget, if we have to do this work, then we would not only need the experts in this sector, but also many of the construction companies, many of the consultants, and so on. So that is what my point was. So kindly have a
Okay.
preparation for the
Fine,
detailed
fine.
thing
Yeah,
and
yeah.
come back.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, doctor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Sharu. Thank you very much for patiently
Madam,
listening to
good
me.
morning.
Good morning.
Dikshit, I
Yeah,
just
Dixit ji.
wanted to know, maybe you told, but I missed. What is the capacity of one VLCC?
2 million barrel,
2 million
approximately
barrel.
2 million barrel. Yes.
Now, and we also talked about underground storage, those caverns having capacity of around 6 MT,
No,
million
it's
metric ton.
total. You're talking about
Uh,
total. It's total.
Total.
It's about
So
like I have given the
what I was just
yeah.
thinking, and you need to correct me if I'm wrong. Suppose we have a good number of VLCCs with India that is owned by Indian government. Then all those 10 or 15 VLCCs, they will be floating, and that will become sort of floating storage for us. So it will be meeting two needs. One is
You
transportation,
see, that is
and
why. That
when they
is
are
why.
when they are on voyage, that is also a capacity available.
Uh,
So what is
okay,
the government doing on it? Because this seems to
okay.
be something like natural gas available in pipeline as a sort of what to say, a buffer, which helps us to sustain for a few days in during time of emergencies.
Okay. So if you let me explain now to you.
Hmm.
You remember when the Iran war started, the government of India has declared the reserves are there for 45 days. You
45 days.
remember that? 45 days. Okay. So that includes the reserves of the crude in the cavern, that strategic reserves which we have, which is 5 million, approximately 5 million metric ton, and the ships which are already in the transit, which is also containing a lot of crude,
Correct.
and then also a lot of tankages are there, product tanks, crude tanks with all the refineries
Hmm.
in the terminals. So putting all of them together, it is a 45 days reserves are there. But what I mean to say here, now putting all of them together, if you have 45 days, similar way, basically, there is a thumb rule that it should be minimum of 90 days. Generally, there is no, it's a like consultant, they say that on and taking a statistical views and on this, they say that if you have a 90 days reserves in the products and goods, like energy reserves enough for the 90 days, uh, it should be, there should be some days like 45 days, no, 5 days, but
90
internationally
days
it takes about,
sounds 90 days sounds
it's
good.
it's an
Uh,
international good consultant figure they have given. So you should have a 90 days reserves for this. But here is few point need to be understood that for India, with the economic conditions of the India, reserves are good, but the moment you take the reserves, it immediately increase of inventory. It's a huge money lock. So these are really, and the tankages are there for regular flow, but the huge money locked. And also, when you transport the imported crude, it takes about 25 to 30 days to come here. And the Gulf is the most closest one, technically. So these are various parameters. Definitely, these are inbuilt
I got it.
problems.
It has a cost.
The-
It has a cost,
Yeah, it's an inbuilt problems.
and it depends how much we can afford. That's
Absolutely,
true.
and it is an inbuilt problem. But the problem which we should handle properly is the insurance and the vessels, where we
Hmm.
should not be completely dependent on, the outside countries.
That's why I said
Yeah,
India should own more number of
I think.
VLCCs
Yeah.
so
Government
that
is
it
working,
is
and I
having
think.
two ways. One is you are
Yeah.
having them, and
और
it is
भाई
also adding to some capacity.
लोग को बोलो कि काहे
Absolutely.
के
And the
लिए
vessels
करना
are, I think the government has given importance onto the vessel manufacturing, which is happening. And insurance is the big issue. That also they're, being thought of. I will not be able to say at this moment. There is no such actions heard. But yes, for the vessel manufacturing, India is going to have Shipping Corporation of India is going for few manufacturing of few vessels.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. If
Okay.
anybody else is having some questions,
Yeah.
Please put down.
Can I talk? Hello, I'm Ganesh here.
Yeah, Ganesh ji.
Yeah.
Hi.
So I'm Ganesh from Chennai. First, I
सर
was to.
प्लीज आपका कैमरा ऑन कीजिए प्लीज.
Oh, 1 second. I'm not. I had to wear a shirt.
No, no problem. If the camera is also not on, we are able to hear you. So we'll be able to answer. So two-way communication is good enough without camera too also. No problem.
Okay, just a minute. 1 second, please. Sorry to hold you. So he wants me to put the camera on. So let me have to be presentable, no? Okay.
When we are attending conferences, we should remain
Nice to hear you, Ganesh
attendable.
ji. Nice to hear that.
Yeah. See, I have to tell the fact.
Good morning.
So are you able to see my video?
Yeah, you are highly presentable. Yeah.
Yeah,
यस सर
no,
यस
I
सर.
see, there is a decorum, right? Particularly this kind of thing. I casually listening. I
You have
enjoy
seen
listening to such
you have
talk.
seen the movie PK?
Sorry?
You have seen the movie PK?
Yes, long back.
Okay, so in the movie, the media head, the company's head of the media, where
Yeah.
Anuksha Sharma was working, he used
Yes.
to use only the top coat, and
Okay.
bottom was the shorts only, so
Shorts.
which is not visible.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, fine. What I just was saying is, first I wish to appreciate you have done an excellent presentation, and you brought. I already put in my message that you are able to define very well the present crisis and how the storage is being planned. What are the routes? You have got a lot of information for my interest. I am basically an electrical engineer. Okay. So I have two questions. One is I found the LNG gas is sort of more available. LPG, I think for the vehicles, people are finding very difficult in Chennai to get that gas. I don't know what's the issue and how it can be solved. That is one. Second, I got the one information or news saying there's a huge reserve they have found in the Ganges Basin in UP. So that can really solve most of our generating our own energy crisis. Is it how far it is true? And please, can you highlight on that? Thank you.
Okay, so let me answer your first question regarding LPG. In fact, LPG, there was a problem, but it has been multiplied than the actual problem it happened. That's the point number one. Point number two, in the rural areas, the natural gas, what is it called, CBG, CGD is yet to be arrived. Okay, only LPG goes there. So having this Ujjwala Yojana in the scheme in the place, you know that our LPG consumption has actually increased. So almost like 17 million metric ton LPG we import. And you know how this Strait of Hormuz has become so important. Where from the major part of the LPG is coming? That is need to be analyzed.
Yeah.
You see the wherever gas is there, resource natural gas is there. Where it is there? It is there primarily at Iran and Qatar.
Qatar, yes.
And Middle East. Again, they have the crude, they have the natural gas in plenty. Right? And in fact, Qatar and Iran shares the world most gas reserves.
Yes, okay.
Biggest reserves. Now, when the gas is available there, they don't use LPG, but they have the plants, refinery, which produces LPG. And they have the petrochemical plants, which utilizes natural gas, crack it and produce the petrochemical products. So they don't require LPG.
Yes.
All other countries require LPG because they don't have, like, if you see South Korea also have a capacity. I have shown to you already, big, very high capacity, and they are 100% dependent on the crude and gas import, 100%. But they are not able to give me much of LPG. The fact remains because they are utilizing, they don't have the imported natural gas. They do not have the imported crude oil also. They do not have natural crude oil. So the LPG is primarily, that is why the produce in the refineries, in the Middle East refineries are being sold to, given to India. And meanwhile, India's consumption has increased. India 60% are importing. Almost 17 million metric ton of LPG is imported, which was earlier practically there was no LPG import.
Oh, okay.
And now after this government scheme, the import has increased like anything, because this is all going to the village areas,
Okay.
rural areas. It is all being distributed in the rural areas. That's a big change. That's a big change in the landscape in the consumptions of LPG. And all are coming from Middle East, because they don't require LPG. They are having plenty of natural gases. They have the natural gases network, CGD, what is called in our country. So they don't need it. And they give it to us. So we take it from there. So the LPG coming from that area in bulk from Qatar, Kuwait, Qatar, Kuwait,
Iran.
Saudi Arabia was really a halt. But technically, I'm talking the Strait of Hormuz. It's just not for Iran. All of them, all the ships of all LNG, LPG, crude are passing through the Strait of Hormuz, and
Hormuz.
we don't have any pipelines to take it from there to here.
Okay.
So Strait of Hormuz is so important and so dependent for other countries, so important. And USA very much well aware of this. Iran is also well aware of this. So that's why. So LPG, the crisis has multiplied. It was not that crisis, but yes, there was a delivery movement of the ships were little slow. That got affected, but now it is again normalized. I don't know. Yesterday, when the Strait of Hormuz was declared open fully by Iran, US has declared not yet open unless the nuclear weapon deal is signed, something like that. So I think it is going to be again very serious day after tomorrow. Market share, all these things, stock is going to affect it. Tomorrow we'll be able to know this, because 22nd is the last date of your ceasefire at Iran. 22nd April is the last date of the ceasefire. It is going to get closed. And President Trump has declared, if the deal is not signed prior to this, it doesn't arrive to the deal, then there would be a bigger war than what it
Bigger.
was having earlier.
Correct. Okay.
And
So
your second question, what you were saying
about
is the.
the findings in the Ganges region in
Oh,
UP.
okay. Actually, let me tell you one thing. In the initial studies which has been done for the reserves in various locations, that was not that deep in a sense. It was not a deep dive innovations were there.
Okay.
Now India is looking for deep sea reserves, because we understood that energy security is very, very important.
Very important.
So the works on this identifying is taking place. It's called 2P, 3P kind of a thing is really going on hugely over there. So as you were saying in UP, further test is required. Further, what is it called? 3D views are required to finally identifying the thing. But Government of India's second one very important step is that whatever deep is there, even if it is not economical, we used to say, if it is not economical, if it is deep sea not economical, we didn't venture into that. But today we are venturing into that. So you, along with this, you might be seeing that there are multiple news that Andaman, in the area of Andaman,
Yeah.
deep sea gas has been identified, which will change the entire energy landscape of
Landscape of India.
country. But it is not true.
Oh,
I identified, I got it vetted from MOPNG. He said no, from ONGC, he said it is not true. It was just moving like that. Because they might
oh,
have got some kind of indications which is
correct.
floated in the market so fast, but it is yet to be established. So that's how is happening. EOP, what you said, maybe it is correct, but it needed to be established
Need
and
to be
validated
further.
with a further
Oh,
test, with further investigation test.
okay.
Yes.
Fine. Thank you very much. You have given a very good response. Thanks very much. All the best for you.
Thank you, Ganeshji. Thank you very much. You're a nice person, very jovial and fun making. We enjoyed it thoroughly.
Good. Nice.
Any question? So, Jograjji, any more questions from anybody?
कोई और है जो अपने सवाल करना चाहते हैं, सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं? Yes, Mr. Savas.
या पूछिए, क्वेश्चन पूछिए।
कोई और हैं जो अपने सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं सर?
Good morning, madam. Umesh
Good morning.
Badgujar here.
Okay.
I would like to ask one question. Is there any chances to like work ONGC along with the DRDO to avoid the minimum consumption of the energy, or we can proceed with the renewable energy sources instead of this kind of the energy sectors? Because I am also working in the oil and gas sector from last 15 years in UAE, Oman, Saudi. But my basic question is how we can support to DRDO, or how we can develop India as independent energy consumption.
Okay. Umesh ji, it's a good question. As I have already told that energy security for India is very, very important, and we are not fully secured because we are, as far as crude is concerned, we are already importing 85%. So what's the next course to become more secured? And that's two part. One is increasing utilizations of renewable energy available in our country, utilizing it fullest. And another one is then increasing nuclear energy. So if I go for the nuclear energy, which is very, very less, I said 1.13%, very, very less, where France is, in this case, is 63%. And the nuclear energy is very clean energy. So this is the area where now DRDO is helping us. I'm sure you have seen the recent report is that we don't have uranium in our country, which is required for the that nuclear plant. So the technology they have uh, produced, or they have identified, or they have made is we have a lot of thorium. Thorium is converted to uranium,
Yeah.
so that this uranium can be utilized for the nuclear power plant. So DRDO is working on this. So if the nuclear power plant comes, we will be able to get a very clean energy in the future. And that is going to give me a lot of energy security. And as far as uh, new renewable energy is concerned, I am sure that renewable, as 22% is coming from the renewable energy, which is a big jump for the Indians. And we have going for compressed biogas and all ethanol, 2G, 1G, 2G, 3G ethanol. We are going for biogas, which we whatever potential we have, we are utilizing it, and we have to increase it further to make our country more secure, energy secure. This is what I mean to say. So this is how DRDO can help, that more thorium, which can be converted in a cheaper way, economic way, to the uranium, so that we can go for much, much more and more nuclear plant, and the contribution of the nuclear energy is increased. We will be more secured in this area. That's how it can be done.
Yeah. Again, in addition to your, sorry to disturb you. Yeah, your
No
explanation
problem.
is very, very good and very explainable. That is not an issue. But in addition to that, as the Engineering Council of India, can we initiate some along with the government of India to make, as a rural area will be 100% solarized, and other energy sources will be easily available at the gram panchayat or the panchayat level. So it
Um,
will be also
Umesh ji,
on the energy sector.
Umesh ji, there are already schemes.
Yes,
Last year,
yes,
Government
yes,
of
please.
India, Prime Minister Modi himself has already declared that rooftop solar energy in the houses, which will be highly subsidized one, and which is taking place, and there is a big growth has taken place. So in the rural areas, the rooftop solar is really expanding like anything, really expanding like anything. And yesterday, a few days before, I was seeing almost like 100 companies are working on the rooftop solar implementation in the rural area, suburb areas, and nearby areas. Believe me, it's a good work going on in the country. Very good work. So there is already a scheme and there is a lot of subsidy available from the government of India on this. There are more than 100, even more, 200 companies are there to work on that. So typically, a lot of developments are taking place in the country on the rural area for the energy. Definitely, it's a good investment and good landscape for the country.
Madam, I would also like to add one more information.
Yeah,
Particularly in Jharkhand, which I have seen, there a lot of initiative has been taken in this direction, and now biogas plants for each household, that is also coming up very fast. So
very
what they
fast.
have done
Yes,
is they have made modular biogas plants of a very small size, fit to take care of household need of individual. Uh, so what they are doing is cattle is already there, cattle population. So based on waste of that and some other agriculture waste, they are able to generate enough gas not only to cook but also to lighten their houses. So this is also happening, particularly in Jharkhand. I have seen it
absolutely,
is happening in a
absolutely.
big way.
Dixit
We
ji, I
we,
mean,
we talk
absolutely.
about biogas bigger plants, but then this one is for each household.
Yeah, absolutely, Dikshit ji. Even I did it one scheme at while I was heading Barauni Refinery, and with the support of Mr. Giriraj Singh, we have actually on the CSR scheme. So
Hmm.
from the cow dung, in the house itself, there's a cow dung biogas is produced, which goes to kitchen and also for the illumination purpose. Both it is happening house-wise, individual house-wise.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not a big plant because when you have CBG big plant which industries are doing, that compressed biogas actually getting connected with the natural gas
Natural
piping.
gas grid.
Natural
Correct.
gas grid,
Hmm.
yes, it is going to natural gas grid. However, every house is solar power rooftop as well as small size modular compressed biogas are being implemented in the rural areas, and that
These
is giving a
things,
lot of energy
if
security too.
these things can be scaled up, then a lot of self-reliance will come automatically,
Absolutely. And
and then
to add
the
to that,
burden on LPG will also go
yeah,
down.
to add to that, there is another terminology which all of you might have heard is called SMR, small modular reactor, which is also a nuclear reactors. Uh, if you implement at any location, it will be able to cater the requirement of one or two district power energy for one or two districts. So BARC has made one modular SMR which can cater the one district power requirement. So these are the various development taking place across the countries.
Right. योगराज जी देखिए और कोई क्वेश्चन है तो
Any question?
कोई और हैं जो पूछना चाहते हैं?
हेलो, ये बायोगैस वाला जो सिस्टम है इसकी कॉस्ट कितनी आती है इंडिविजुअल के लिए?
ये कुछ थाउजेंड्स में ही है, मतलब इट इज लेस देन अ लाख. आई थिंक 50-60,000 है. आई एम इन टच विद सम पीपल. आई विल get it and post it in ECI.
ओके.
For the rural houses, individual houses, it will be something around, to my understanding, is 70 to 80 lakhs. And for the CBG plant of 10 KT is coming around 70 crore, 60 to 70 crore.
नहीं, he is talking about it for individual households. So
Individual
that is not in
houses,
lakhs.
that is in 1,000. That is in
But
60, 70,000.
yeah.
तो उसके लिए
But I'll get the scheme and cost available to ECI members.
ये इसके लिए कांटेक्ट किससे करना पड़ेगा?
I will get those details. ये योगराज जी हम लोगों का कोई सिस्टम है थ्रू विच वी कैन इन्फॉर्म अवर मेंबर्स एंड पर्टिकुलरली ये विजय साहब का
यस
सवाल है
यस
तो उनको
यस यस
तो
है सर.
आई विल गिव डिटेल्स टू यू. यू इन टर्न फॉरवर्ड इट टू इंटरेस्टेड इंजीनियर्स. ठीक है ना
Yes.
शुक्ला साहब?
ओके.
राइट.
Any more question?
कोई और हैं जो अपना सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं?
वैसे मैडम का प्रेजेंटेशन इतना बढ़िया था रियली. मतलब आई यूज टू थिंक आई नो अ लॉट अबाउट दिस इंडस्ट्री बट पता चला जैसे लाइक शिपिंग I never heard about
Technically,
various routes and
technically,
capacities.
Dikshit ji, I thought yesterday that I don't know the participants spread not much. So I don't know. Actually, I'll go to the higher level or the lower level or the middle level. So I
No, no, no.
trust
That's why I
everything.
suggested you don't take a high-fi topic where a lot of engineering is involved, because then we are having engineers from different disciplines, civil, electrical, mechanical. So topics should be interesting and topics should be thought-provoking, so that people overall knowledge level increases. So that way it was a very successful presentation made, and I swear matlab, most of us will not be were not knowing about all these nitty-gritties. So thank you
Fine.
very much.
Thank you.
Yuvraj, you
Thank
can
you very much.
conclude now.
अच्छा हेलो आई हैव a question.
हाँ
यस
बोलिए बोलिए
गोपाल
अच्छा
सर।
ये वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग हमको बाद में मिल सकता है क्या? बिकॉज मेरा ना वो फोन ओवरहीट हो जा रहा था, मैं आ रहा था जा रहा था ऐसे कर रहा था, तो
जी
वीडियो
मिल जाएगा
रिकॉर्डिंग बाद
सर,
में
मिल
मिल सकता
जाएगा। हम
मिल
यूट्यूब
हम
में
जाएगा?
हम
रहता
हर
है।
बार हम हर बार इनविटेशन के साथ यूट्यूब चैनल लिंक भी शेयर करते हैं। आप उसे क्लिक करने के बाद वहां पर विजिट कर सकते हैं सर।
ठीक है सर,
वीडियो
ठीक
या
है,
रिकॉर्डिंग्स देख सकते हैं।
ठीक है, थैंक यू, थैंक यू।
I'm Dikedar. This had been a wonderful session. For many days, I haven't had such a very good session. The madam has really presented,
You.
and
Thank you, Dajit.
my good wishes to you. But one thing is there. Let me tell you the last part.
Yeah.
This all statutory authorities must have to be in unison for the projects what we have discussed. What happens, there are sort of lot of clearances have to be needed in a big way. The environment comes and other people come into this. So it is not that sometimes very easy what we think to do it is allowed officially or statutory wise in the same locality.
You mean to say about the project during the time of project implementation?
Implementation, yes.
Okay.
There are certain projects what we discussed which need certain clearances in a congested area and all.
Mm-hmm.
So then it becomes a bit difficult for getting those clearances. Otherwise, all those projects had been theoretically recommended, had been very good projects, where had it been followed properly in the market. But why those projects we had been discussed for last 20-25 years, but why those are not implemented in a wide scale yet in the areas? You understood my point, what I'm saying?
Understood.
So there
Can
are,
I,
yes, please.
yeah, can I reply to your
Yes, please do.
question?
Please do.
Okay.
Please do.
So, uh, like we have to actually speak in this area little bit wisely. Uh, uh, by you and me, I'm not talking about you only. I'm talking all of us. Little bit thought process to be given on that. Now, what is the thought process? Basically, I mean to say is that in India, to bring a project, it really takes time, environmental, and all this. We have to remember one very important thing at that point of time, because when I bring the project, I think about ourselves that my project is getting delayed due to that permission, due to this permission. And true you are, which really hugely delay the project and thus the economy of the project. Economics sometimes get unviable. At the same time, we have to remember that in India is the world third largest emitter of carbon dioxide.
Right.
What? That's a huge. India's congestions are huge. India's having Noida is the world populous city in the world. So as far as worst thing is concerned, India also holds other top ranking. So we are in the crisp of two things, cusp of two things. We want a system which take care of both the things so easily, so beautifully or nicely. That's the things required. So
You mean
why
to say the balancing? You mean to say the balancing
absolutely,
between
and that,
everything? Correct. Absolutely
yeah.
right. You
So
are.
I think that balancing probably requires a lot of manpower in the offices of the government of India, lot of thinking thought process in the government of India, so that you know we need crude refinery, more processing of crude. That means more refineries. We need CO2 emission less, we need more plant, more industries, and this all requires quick approval. This also to be thought that by giving quick approval, the judicious approval is required to be given so that it is really utilized properly, optimally, and economically. That is very, very important. You see, just one more thinking. Assam is having small 6 refineries. Any point? Tell me that. We have
No.
Guwahati refinery, we have Digboy refinery, we have Bongaigaon refinery, we have Numaligarh refinery.
Yes.
Okay. The reason of this because Assam produces a lot of crude oil. The capacity is less, but currently, actually, I should go for bigger capacity refinery because we need refinery. More refinery, so bigger capacity refinery and a small capacity should go away. But we can't do that. And the same situation is not there in India. In China also, they have something around 90 refineries called teapot refineries, The capacity
Yes.
is 1 million metric ton, 0.75 million metric ton, 2 million metric ton. So the problems are there, and your point is also agreeing. We have to see the other side. So government of India is really a cusp of all these kind of problems. So it requires a smooth, real balance by a good group.
Actually, does government is really thinking on the optimal extraction of crude in India, within India?
You mean to say exploration?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I mean, see, in our country we do not have good, very established and technologically good companies for exploration area. So to say, this is what. In fact, we two companies, ONGC and Oil India, and currently is BP Reliance. All of them are utilizing the foreign companies like Slumberger and
Mm.
like that they are technically they have the technology, they are very technically effective also, I would say. So in that area we haven't got much of expertise, technically much of expertise. We are still utilizing those foreign companies. We need to
That's
really
the
work a lot
that,
on this
that's the
project.
reason I asked it, because I had been a consultant for ONGC. That's the reason I asked it. Now the question is, when will really the government think about this on this particular field of extraction of their own exploration and extraction of their own crude oil properly, after properly, just to avoid this sort of catastrophe from time to time?
I think they are doing it now because they understood that the more reserves for this country is the more security. So expenditure on the part of exploration is high, and people are sensitized. There are a lot of meeting, a lot of conference also took place. The people are now sensitized, and I'm sure that later or sooner, whatever it is, we'll be able to explore good reserves, which will help the energy landscape greatly for our country.
Thank you very much, madam. Today it
Thank you
had
very
been a
much, Asha.
wonderful session. I loved entire thing, and my discussion with you also. I felt very elated about it. Thank you very much. Wish you best of luck in future.
Thank you very much, and thank you all. I don't know, Jograji, if anyone is there.
Yes,
I
yes.
thank you very much for patiently listening to me, and I'm sure I'm able to contribute to all of you to a bit, if not high, but to a bit.
Thank you, respected speaker madam, for insightful session.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
madam.
So
Thank you.
thank you,
Really from
thank
our
you very
side.
Thank
much.
you, all of
Thank you.
you,
We hope you give more
for your time
such
and attention.
presentations.
Thank you.
Very, very informative.
Thanks
Thank
a
you very
lot.
much.
Thanks a
Thank
lot,
you.
madam. Thanks a lot to ECI.
Thank you. So we'll stop. We'll go from this video message conference.
Yes.
Shall
Okay,
we
ma'am.
go out
Okay,
of
ma'am.
this conference? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Right.
Hello. Namaste, sir.
Yogaraj ji, this CPD credit points, how we can get it from you?
think he is not there.
Hello.
Whether we will get this CPD certificate for the session?